All right. How we doing, Dan? What's happening?
So our Havanese, he'll be 2 in September. I keep forgetting the dates, so we just change it to September 11th. It's close
Nice.
enough. Hard to forget. But for a long time he was like not very sweet. He was just like independent dog, always just wanted to play and just did so like when you pet him, it's super awkward still. And yesterday I was petting him and he rolled on his back and he started grunting. And when he started this grunting thing, we're like, oh, he's a little piggy. Then I'm petting him. I'm like, is this dog moaning? So my wife came into the room and I said, when you pet DB and he grunts, she goes, yeah. I said, I think he's moaning. And she goes, something happened to my phone. I got to leave the room.
Oh, Dan, you're petting me so good. Oh. What's going on? It's time for another episode of Too Hard for the Radio, transmitting from the future free state of Greater Idaho. I am the one-armed madman, and back with us today from Music City, America, it's the great Daniel Steele. Dan,
what's happening?
how we
everybody?
doing? It's a turbulent world. Things are moving quick. We haven't podcasted in a while, but it kind of worked out pretty good this way.
Yeah.
We're in it. We're in the shit. We're deep in the shit.
And the thing is, I'm so informed. I know everything that's going on, and I can tell you. I'm kidding. I'm so sick of
Laura Loomer.
Oh, no, I muted her years ago or weeks ago. Feels like years. It's weeks are years in Trump days.
No shit, right? Like, dude, it feels like we've been in term 2 forever, but it's only been like 6 months.
Just over 5.
Really?
It's January
yeah,
20th, right?
Yeah, you're right. January. I was
Yeah.
thinking beginning of January. So yeah, we're at like 5 months right now, almost
Yeah.
exactly. Wild, dude. It sure is something. Warhawk propaganda is just incredible. At first it was, oh, settle down. There's not going to be a war. And then Trump tweets that the 12-day war is over. Well, of course it was a war, but it's not going to be a longer war. It's not going to be World War III. They just like switch their propaganda tools like at an instant. And then it's this woke right bullshit, which is just so annoying. Like, I used to respect James Lindsay. Like, I thought what they did early on with those papers was fucking hilarious. And it really did show like how bad academia was. Like, for people who don't know, he started off by doing these grievance studies, they called them. And they would write papers where they would take like sections of Mein Kampf and just like switch words around to make it sound woke. And then they would get these things published. And like the publishers were glowing over them. Oh, this is incredible. They did one that was called like rape culture at dog parks, where they said that they checked the genitals of like 10,000 dogs at dog parks, and then they connected rape culture to Trump voters, and like it won an award or something like that. So like I respected this guy for a long time. I thought he was really smart. Like, now this woke right thing, it was just him talking about it. And like, at this point, I don't know if this is actually his idea, if this is some sort of op that he's running. Like, I don't know who he's fucking working for, but it has gone wide. And like the Warhawks are just eating it up. And it's just so fucking annoying. Like, it's just painful to go through Twitter at this point. I spend most of my time on Twitter arguing about cop videos at this point. Like, that's all I do.
You definitely talk a lot about cops.
Yeah,
and
fuck them.
Just like
probably too much.
Then you have like
I'm gonna stop.
The typical liberal, James Kirk, just like 100 other accounts.
Charlie Kirk,
whatever.
Yeah, there's big neck or big head, whatever he is.
Yeah,
it's
they're all like, the same thing. Like, this isn't a war. This is a war on Iran's nukes. They were days away from building a nuke. Blah blah blah, and then it's like, okay, it's over because the president said it's over, and then they're like, Iran better not strike back. Then Iran strikes back, and then
it's not going to be regime change. And then Trump tweets like,
"Oh yeah, no regime change.
Yeah, make Iran great again, or there's going to be regime change."
Yeah, and then something about the N-word. calling it new. I think Russia,
Oh, that's
somebody in Russia
right. He
was.
did say
I
that.
sent you that not because I thought it was like well thought out, but I'm like, this is really funny.
Yeah.
Just the way he's like the N word, the N word, the
Yeah.
N word, and he's talking about nukes. But then Trump gets a peace deal, and everybody's like, trust the process, and
Said Trump.
then
Nut
both
riders.
sides violate. For both sides accuse each other of violating. Who knows?
Immediately.
Immediately, like it just and but people are still praising Trump today for this peace deal that never happened.
He should get
And it's
a
like,
Nobel Peace Prize. That
yeah,
was crazy. They should
for
call it the
what?
Trump Peace Prize. I heard that one too, which is
Oh yeah.
just fucking wild, man.
And
It's
the blind loyalty is just as bad as the people that were pushing the woke communist agenda of pronouns and this and that, and it's absolute, you can't fail. When you couldn't say anything bad about Harris, like she was a bumbling idiot.
yeah,
Is she's still alive? I think.
drunk. She's drunk somewhere.
Drunk somewhere, maybe getting hammered with Paul Pelosi. Um, oh, one of my favorite memes from all of that is when they named the Operation Midnight Hammer,
Yeah.
and it was like Barron leaning over, Dad, call it Operation Midnight Hammer, so that we can post Pelosi memes.
Yeah, it was something like I remember the real Midnight Hammer.
Oh yeah, that one too.
It was so
Yeah, I
funny.
mean, the thing is, it looked like the my other one arm buddy, Connor, called me last night. I was like in bed. It's like 11, and he's like, "Well, what do you make of this?" And I said, in an optimistic, which I'm not an optimistic person, but I'm trying to be more optimistic. In an optimistic view, uh, Iran knew that we were going to bomb them. We bombed the corners of the facility. Nothing really got hurt except some doors. We knew that Iran was going to strike back, and then um, that gave both sides enough justification to say, "Look at what I did," and they could get a peace deal done. Um, and then it didn't actually happen, but like that was my optimistic view. But
Yeah.
like I don't know where we go from here, especially when Trump is like both sides don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah. My buddy
Like,
asked me the same. I talked to my buddy the other day, and he asked me the same thing. He was like on vacation, so he hadn't really like been paying attention to shit. And he's like, "What do you make of it?" And I thought my take on it was like, right now, both sides are doing the, "Hey, I'm gonna kick your ass, Dan. Hold me back while I threaten to kick this guy's ass."
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yep,
It's like
yep,
fake and gay. They're not really doing anything. The whole Top Gun narrative, which is wild. Like Top Gun was about this exact fucking thing.
did you
And
actually watch it?
yeah, I like fighter jets. Like I can't help it, you know. Like
Oh yeah,
I like
that's
badass
the
machines.
thing.
Like fighter jets are the baddest machines that we know of. So I think they're fucking cool. I don't like watching air shows anymore. I used to dig air shows, like watching the Blue Angels and shit like that. But now I don't like it because all it is just war hawks like showing off their toys, and it's propaganda to get people to like, oh, look how cool this thing is. Let me join the Air Force so I can fly one of these. When in reality, like you can't fly a fighter jet. Most people
Yeah,
who join the Air Force are never going to even come near one of those things. You can't even go straight into the Air Force and fly one now. You have to go to college first and become an engineer, essentially. Like these things are so far out of reach, it's not even funny. But the recruiters will tell you, "Oh yeah, you ride a dirt bike, you'd be great as a fighter pilot." And it's like, "Oh,
yeah.
I'm gonna go be Tom
It
Cruise."
gets me though. It gets me when Las Vegas won the Stanley Cup. I think it was 3 years ago now,
Mhm.
and I'll go on a side story real quick.
Yeah.
So, like, my best friend had season tickets, and he took me to the game before. His wife gave up her seat so I could go because she heard how excited I was.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I always want to see a final game because I played hockey as a kid.
Yeah.
So the only tickets I could find were in the nightclub in the because of course Las Vegas Hockey Arena has a nightclub,
Nice.
and they were fucking $1,500 a piece.
Holy shit.
And I told my wife, I'm like, this is a lot of money, but we had just gotten some money, and she's like, you know what, you worked fucking hard. You've always wanted to do this. Let's do it.
Yeah.
We get up there, you can't see the ice. We watched it on a fucking TV screen.
Oh, that's horrible. I've got a
But
quick sidetrack story that I can go into that relates to this as well. So I lived in San Francisco while the Giants were kicking ass. And
Yeah.
I got to go to game. So my buddy one day he calls me up and he's like, "Hey man, this is game 7 of the NLCS. I'm at the bar getting ready to start my shift on Pier 39. So it's like a couple miles away from the stadium." And my
Yeah.
buddy calls and he's like, "Hey man, I got an extra ticket. The guy who I was got the ticket for flaked. Do you want it?" And I'm like, "Fuck. Hell yeah, I want it. Let me see if I can get my shift covered." So I like go around and I'm talking to bartenders and the one that's there, she was like, "I'll fucking work your shift. Like this is a once in a lifetime,
Yeah. That's
opportunity and
cool.
you
Yeah.
like you're into this shit, like go." And so I'm like, I call my buddy, I'm like, "I'm fucking in." He's like, "All right, well, you need to get here within like 10 minutes. Otherwise, I'm going inside and I'll leave your ticket at will call and you can figure it out." And I'm like, "Fuck, I don't want to deal with that shit. It's going to take forever. They might close the fucking thing down. Like, I got to get there." So I kind of hurry out to the front of the pier and I'm planning on catching one of the trains. And I look at the schedule. I'm like, "Oh shit, there's no fucking way." I'm like, the only way I'm going to get there is like one of those bikes. Those guys have the bikes
Yeah.
with the carriage in the back. None of them
Yeah.
around. No taxis. The place is just completely fucking locked up with traffic. Oh shit. So I fucking ran. I ran the entire way there and I got there in like 9 minutes or 10
Nice.
minutes or something like that. I get there as I'm walking across the street, I'm smoking a cigarette. And my buddy's just like, "Yeah, you fucking did it." And so then
Nice.
they get into the World Series. This is when they're playing the Detroit Tigers. And my buddy's like, "You want to go to the World Series game 1?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, dude. Let's do this." And he goes, "All right, I'm going to buy tickets." And he goes and buys tickets from some fucking asshole on Craigslist and they're fake. And then I go, "Hey man, this is what we're going to do. You're going to send me this guy's information," because he was so stupid. He still had the ad up on Craigslist. I'm like, "Send me this guy's information." I asked him, I was like, "Is he a big guy?" And he's like, "No, he's a little black guy. Like you could, you know." And I go, "Send me the information. I'm going to set up a meeting with this guy and I'm going to go and I'm going to strong arm and I'm going to get our fucking money back. Like I'll beat this guy's ass. I don't give a fuck." And he, like a pussy, calls the cops. The cops are like, "Oh, set up a meeting." And didn't work. The guy fucking flaked. We never got the tickets, never got our money back. I was so goddamn pissed. It was
Oh,
just,
that
ooh, I was mad. Like, I almost broke up with my girlfriend that night because it was my ex-wife actually. Like, she came and met us at a bar to watch it, and I was just fucking pissed and didn't want to talk to anybody.
that might
You
have
know?
been way better if you did.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I
So
I went out of my way to save that relationship at that night after it was like, what a dumb move that was.
So speaking of bunk tickets, uh, the Bonnaroo Music Festival was a couple weekends ago, and my buddy's girlfriend goes, and it starts downpouring, and so her and her friends sit in a restaurant, and they're like, the rain stops, so they hop in the car, and they all take mushrooms at the gate waiting to get in,
Hell
and
yeah.
the festival gets canceled,
No.
and so the driver somehow just on pure adrenaline drives the hour and a half or hour back to Nashville
Mhm.
and just starts coming up as he's pulling into town. They go to a bar. They're like, "What are we gonna do?" And like, there's a really cool like Nashville. What there's not a better place for a festival for an 80,000 person festival to get canceled than Nashville. Like the city just responded. There was shows every night, huge shows, all the headlining acts. It was great. So this like really cool act is happening. Um, and the tickets like sold out right away, and then you could buy them scalped. So one of her friends was like, "Hey, I got 2 tickets. They're like 180 bucks a piece." And she's like, "Well, I paid for a 1-day festival band. I'm getting 180 bucks back. Let's go." So they go to the show. They take an Uber over there. They wait in line for an hour and a half. They get to the front door and they're like, "Your tickets are bad." And this poor girl's sitting there high out of her she took more mushrooms on the way because she thought
Yeah.
she was going into a show, and sitting there high on mushrooms, and, like, all of the people get in, and the lady at the ticket booth was like, "Look, you'll get your money back, just file a claim with, like, Access or whatever. We're sold out, but I'll sell you guys tickets for 50 bucks a piece."
Yeah.
And then she got to go in, got to go to the show, and, but man, I just imagine I tried putting myself in her shoes, like,
Yeah.
about to get in the festival, take some mushrooms, cool. Fuck, we're not going to the festival. All right, back to Nashville, make a new plan. All right, cool show. Like, it's a show that I wanted to go to, but I wouldn't pay the scalping price, and I was pretty tired anyway. Like the super dope show, once in a lifetime lineup, and for $180, I would have paid. I probably would have paid that, but I was pretty tired. And then get there, and then you have to sit and watch everybody walk in because they had real fucking tickets while you're high on more
Oh
mushrooms
my
that you
God.
took on the way.
So I've got a couple good mushroom stories. I did a lot of mushrooms when I was younger. It's a fun time. So me and my buddy Nolan, who's the co-host of the show, the other co-host, we rented an apartment in Southern California. It was like right when I moved out of my parents' place. I moved straight down to Southern California, got a room with him and our friend Christy that was from Northern California, and we just made her life fucking miserable because we were pieces of shit. We did a lot of drugs. We were partying all the time, and we made her life miserable. It was terrible for her. I feel bad about that. But on our last night in the apartment, everything was cleared out. There was no furniture. The floors had all been cleaned and vacuumed. Like at one point we had this party and like every color pucker got spilled on the steps, and it was all like the carpeted steps were just like
I forgot
tie-dyed with,
pucker was a thing.
yeah, every color
Yeah.
pucker. And so we get a bunch of mushrooms, and I did like 5 grams that night.
Jesus
It was
Christ.
one big cap and one big stem, and I was just like, "Fuck it, I'll do it all." And I was fucking toasted. So it was me, my buddy Nolan, and like 4 other guys that we knew. And so we do these mushrooms. And one of the coolest experience I've ever had on mushrooms, we went out and rolled in my truck. I had a dual cab Dodge pickup at the time. And so it was like our buddy Hobby Lobby was driving. He was sober. He was a pussy. He never did mushrooms. So it was me in the front seat, and then Nick Nolan and 3 other guys in the back. And we go up. We're in Southern California in Temecula, so we go up onto this hill, like tall hills up in the mountains in the Ortegas, like above everything. So the lights are kind of gone at that point, and you can see the stars and everything. We're just tripping fucking balls, right? And so I'm leaning back in my seat, and Hobby Lobby, the guy driving, he's like, "All right, we're gonna do a countdown." And we're on this hill. It's like a very steep grade. And he starts doing a countdown like 10, 9. And he gets to 1 and he just starts burning the tires. And all you can see is just stars up ahead of you. So we felt like we were blasting off in a fucking rocket.
Oh,
Uh,
that's
it
funny.
was sick. And then the rest of the night, since we didn't have any electricity or anything in the house, we didn't have a stereo. We had nothing at that point. Like phones didn't have music on them, and we didn't have a speaker or anything. So my buddy had a Ford Focus, and we parked it in the garage. And like 5 big, 6 foot plus tall guys are crammed into this. Maybe 6 of us crammed into this Ford Focus, and we're just listening to like Slightly Stoopid all night, fucking smoking out in the garage. And so a couple months later, we move into this other house, and we got this. So our number, for some reason, I don't know how this happened, but we had a house phone back then, and our number was 696-6969. And this Mexican dude named Ray that we bought like weed from got arrested one night, and he like called us because that was the only number he could
The number
remember.
that he knew,
And back
yeah.
then you couldn't call cell phones from jail. So like he had to call
Yeah.
us, and he's like, "All right, this is my buddy Chris. You need to call him. He'll bail me out. He'll hook you guys up for bailing me out." So we did it. And I ended up like doing a lot of work with Chris being a salesman down the line. But anyways, Ray ended up moving into our house, and he was a gnarly, like straight out of fucking Tijuana Mexican dude, like pretty big guy,
Yeah.
tattoos, like gnarly dude. And Chris had a bunch of mushrooms, and he's like, "Here, I'll front you guys like a ½ pound of mushrooms, and then you just kind of sell them to your buddies and shit like that." These things were gnarly. They were like gnarly, gnarly gold caps. And dude, you took like I took a full 1/8 of those one night and just destroyed. So we're telling people, don't take the full 1/8. Just start with a half. If you want to go further, then you can, but like just start with the half. Don't fuck around with these things. These are the gnarliest mushrooms I've ever had. Everybody didn't listen, and they all took a fucking 1/8 of them. A couple guys ended up in the hospital. One guy got like busted by his parents because he was like calling his parents crying, thinking he was dying and shit like that. So after like the first run, nobody wanted him. It was like, fuck those things. We're out, So we got ½ pound of mushrooms sitting around the house. So we're just popping all day. I'm going to work, bartending, like fucking just trash, big eyes and everything.
Yeah.
So one night we're all fucked up, and Ray gets like paranoid, crazy. And he's like, "You guys are fucking cops. I know you're cops. Like, you're going to fucking bust me. You're going to send me back to Mexico, all this shit." And we're like kind of scared at this point. We're like, what's this guy going to do? Is he going to call somebody? Like, we don't know what to do. And at one point he was like begging us not to arrest him. Like, "Please don't send me to jail. I know you guys are cops," like fucking all this shit. And he wanted me to go hide his fucking money and mushrooms in a field behind our house. And I'm like, all right. So I go and wander around the field for a few minutes. I keep all the shit in my, shirt or pocket. And like I go back inside and I just put it somewhere inside because I wasn't about to hide this guy's fucking mushrooms out in the fucking field, not
Yeah.
remember where they're at. And then the next day he's fucking pissed off because I stole all of his shit. And oh man, what a fun ride that was.
Mushrooms are funny. Like I it's been quite a while since I did some, but I would I was never take an eighth at a time guy. I was like, let's take a gram, see how it feels.
Yeah.
Then so like I would do like 6 or 7 grams in a night, but it was always a gram at a time.
Yeah.
And one night we're out partying and this dude's like, hey, you know, so and so. I'm like, yeah, actually, I know so and so pretty well. He owes me money, but we're still friendly. So he's like, oh, let's go to his house. And I was fucking trashed at that point. And we get there at like 2:33 because you don't go out till like 11 or midnight in Vegas. And the dude who owed me money, he's like, oh, let's talk about the money some other time and just like be friends tonight.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. So he's like, have you ever tried penis envy before? And I'm like, no. He's like, don't do an eighth. I'm like, well, I never do an eighth. I do a gram at a time. And he's like, yeah, grams fine. So like I watch him weigh out a gram, I eat it. And my best friend's little brother's there. I became really good friends with my best friend's little brother, but he didn't take any because he had to drive. And I'm sitting outside and I can't move. I had to have my best friend's little brother carry me into the house and put me in bed off of 1 gram of penis envy mushrooms. I've never done them again.
Wow. That's
And
gnarly.
that's when I'm like, oh, those things are not as predictable as I thought, and I like things to be pretty predictable, so I'm gonna not take much mushrooms, you know.
Oh man. So that night that we did them in the empty house, I forgot the rest of the story. I was just thinking about it as you said this. So I wasn't living there anymore. Like I had another house to go to that like I was renting a room in. So like
Yeah,
we get done frying and I'm like, all right, I think they're done. I'm gonna drive home and go get some sleep. I start driving and I'm about halfway there. It's like, holy shit, I am still fucking fried right now. And like I'm driving through this construction zone and it's got cones on both sides and it's like shrank down to a really
yeah.
tight single lane. And I'm driving through and it's got like turns going through. And I'm like, dude, I'm fucking Alice in Wonderland. Like they turned into a freaking tunnel and I'm like driving through this orange tunnel. And I get back to the house that I just rented a room in, and there's some guy like that was also renting a room. He was this big fat Asian guy that worked at a hospital, and he's like watching movies. And he notices I'm fucked up right away. He's like, "Oh, you want to watch a movie?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's watch a fucking movie. What are you watching?" "Oh, I'm watching The Ring." "Perfect." "Oh, not
Oh,
perfect. Not perfect at all.
not perfect
Not
at all.
perfect at all." That guy was cool
What?
though. One night I came back fried on ecstasy, and I was fucking like ODing, like hardcore ODing. My head, I had a fever, like my head was just pounding. I could barely move. And he like carried me upstairs and put me in a bathtub with ice and probably saved my fucking life.
You mean ODing on meth?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of meth, one night in Northern California, I'm going over to my buddy Fozzie B's place. And he was growing weed at the time. And he had like a samurai all set up for like mud and rock crawling and shit like that. So we were going to go out
Yeah.
and drive around in the middle of the night and have a good time. So I get over to his house and he's like, "Hey man, come fucking out here and check out these plants." And he's like showing me the weed in plants and, "Oh, check out these stems. Look at this stuff." And it's like, he's just being an idiot. I'm like, okay, yeah, like I've seen weed before. Like, okay. So meanwhile, somebody else, my buddy Ben, is chopping up lines of oxys in the other room. And I go into the other room, and this should have been my like wake up call that something was going on. Fat line, just a massive line. I'm like, ooh, this will be fun, you know? Like Ben's obviously in a good mood tonight. He's being fucking generous, you know?
Yeah.
And, I go and I take a line, and instantly I'm just burnt. My entire fucking face is burning. I'm like, ah, and I knew right away because I'd done it once before, and I was, you motherfuckers. I was so mad. I was like ready to beat the fucking hell out of this guy. And then we went out into the cut and started running, and we had a blast. It was so much fun. Like it was the only time I've ever had fun on an upper. Like I've had some fun on coke before. Actually, that's a lie, but that's different. Coke's fucking for pussies, you know. Shit lasts 20 minutes. But anyways, it was a great time. And I at one point I fucking put my buddy into a corner. I was like, "How many oxys you got on you?" He's "Oh, I got like 3." And I'm like, "Give me 2 of them." "What? I'm not giving you 2 of them. You don't have any money. You're giving me 2 of them. You just fucking snuck in on me. I want those 2 fucking oxys, motherfucker. You're gonna give them to me, or you're gonna feel some fucking wrath." And I got them. It was a great night, but I laid in bed all night, fucking cramped up, and I hate that stuff. It's so nasty. Like, just
Yeah,
a
I've never
nightmare.
done it.
Oh,
Um,
it's horrible.
well, yeah, I'm not in the market. Um, my my one meth story. So there's this festival in outside of Phoenix, and my cool lineup, and it was on like this. It was is on this lake, kind of remote, and there's people that we want to see. We were excited to see. So we fly in, and all the rental car companies were sold out. So I used this app, and I fucking booked the rental car at the wrong airport.
Oh,
So I have
no.
to take an hour Uber over to the other airport, and it was a Tesla that I rented, 400-mile range, no problem. So we're like driving through the mountains trying to get to this festival, and I'm like, "There's no way we get to this festival and back out without running out of electricity." So we have to U-turn and go another 45 minutes out of the way and then back, and because it was supposed to be like a 40-minute drive from Phoenix, but the roads washed out because of storms. So, like, it would have been quicker to drive from Vegas to the festival than what we did. And so we get there, it's fine, whatever. And the first night, we wanted to see 2 of the artists. We just, chilled in our it was like this resort where there was camping in like a motel, but they just upgraded the rooms. It's like it wasn't bad for a motel.
Yeah.
So we just chill in the room, go see the artists that we want, come back. Next day we rent a boat, have a beautiful day on the lake, and then we go into the bar, and the team meet like the actual resort team meeting happens in the bar. And they're like, "I've never seen so many fucking meth pipes in my life. We got to get these people under control." Like the first night they had to airlift somebody out, and just like fucking a mess. So the second night we go a little earlier to the show. So we want to go to bed pretty early. There was like 3 or 4 artists we want to see, and there's this like RV pulled up that's selling ribeyes and like high end food. And then there's a little sign under the window of all the drugs that they had for sale. So it's like MDMA, this, that, and then like at the very bottom of the list, meth. Like, oh, this is fucking weird.
Dirty. I
So
wouldn't buy
like,
their
I
MDMA
obviously
if they had
didn't.
meth on the
I,
menu.
I didn't buy ribeye from the meth dealer. Probably a good idea.
Can you imagine the
Um,
seasoning they're putting on that motherfucker?
but they had hash, so I I've always liked just a little bit of hash, so I'm like,
Yeah,
"I'll buy
me
some
too.
hash." And the girl that sold it to us, she's like, "Oh yeah, this is from under my fingernails when I was trimming weed." It
That's
wasn't
actually
actually
good stuff. That's
I
good
mean,
stuff. Trims. Oh yeah, dude. I always used to save that crap. You put on gloves and you can like roll it out and
but
oh
there
yeah.
was like these little shit balls from
Yeah.
under her nails. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm
They're
not
good though.
definitely not smoking that. That was $30 wasted.
Yeah.
So like the DJ that we wanted or artist that we wanted to see came on, and before that, like the promoter gets on stage, and he's like this probably near 300-pound dude, bright red from being in the sun all day, gets up. He's like, "Yeah, we had our accidents. Oh, let me call the owner up here and let me thank him." And he has like this fucking 55-year-old dude who looks like this buying this resort was his retirement. Like he had captain's hat on and shit. And
Yeah.
he's like, "Yeah, I want to thank you. I know somebody almost died last night. And oh, and just because we do drugs recreationally out here, he's okay with it." This guy just like walks off stage.
I've
So then
never gotten fucked up at a concert.
the DJ that we wanted to see started playing, and this guy walks up in an Adidas tracksuit with headphones along. And he just pushes the DJ out of the way and tries to plug his headphones into the soundboard. He was not scheduled to play.
Oh, that's funny. That's
So by the
fucking
time
good.
we want to see 4 sets, that was the only set that we watched, or we watched a little bit of the previous set, and after that, I'm like, let's get back to our fucking hotel room. This is when we were just starting to formulate Canna, and we were like
Yeah.
feeling pretty good, but I'm like, I don't want to be around these people. And we're walking back to our hotel room, and it's like maybe a quarter-mile walk along the lake.
Yeah.
There were 3 different instances of people screaming at the water. And
Yeah.
I'm very firm in my stance that I will never try meth.
Yeah, you shouldn't do it. Like the first time I ever did it, I stole some out of my dad's bedroom. I don't remember why I was in there, but he wasn't home and I found and dude, it was like straight up ice, like crystal, like just gnarly shit. And I'd never done it before. So like me and my buddy who also had never done it, we're like, hey, let's fucking do some lines. So we rack out these big fucking coke lines like you would do a line of cocaine. And dude, I hammered that motherfucker down and I was up for like 3 days. I've never
Wow.
drank so much in my entire life. Like we went to this shithole bar in Cloverdale called the Dante, which is it's a great fucking bar. Like,
Oh, I love shithole
yeah,
bars.
dude, it's an absolute shithole. It's actually a historical building because it was the first whorehouse in Northern California. So, like, as long as they
First
keep it,
licensed whorehouse.
yeah. So as
Yeah.
long as they keep it, as long as they keep it open 24/7, they can't really have like inspectors come in and fuck with you because some loophole. I don't remember exactly
Like
what.
historic site. For
Exactly.
historic site.
Exactly. So they call it the Dante Bar and Lodge or something like that, but it's not a hotel. You can't fucking stay there. There's no hotel. There's a guy named Banjo Bob that was always in there. He was an old fucking guy. He had to be drug out every night. He lived in a van like outside in the parking lot. He would always like go and dance with all the women and shit. And he was kind of a joke. So like it was creepy as fuck, but everybody kind of dug it just because it was Banjo Bob at the Dante. Like that's kind of what
Yeah.
you're expecting when you go there. And like there was a nicer bar in Cloverdale called the Grapevine and always closed down. A new owner would buy it, they'd renovate it, nobody would show up. Like people
Nobody
would
wants to go to a wine bar.
yeah, people would show up after like the Citrus Fair or a big like Crab Chipino night or something like that. They get a lot of business
Yeah.
then. But on normal nights, like people just didn't go in there to drink. They went to the fucking Dante. Like the guy who owned the Dante, it had no fucking taps. It was all bottles and cans, and he just bought booze from Costco. And it was like, $2 cans, $3 bottles, $2 shots, $5 shots. Like it was just a shithole bar. They like the whole floor was particle board. They didn't even have like an actual floor on it. It was just particle board. It's a
Oh
badass
shit.
place. Like people who, if you're ever in Northern California and you're going through Cloverdale, stop off at the Dante and have a fucking beer. It's a great experience. They got a pool table. They do have a pool table.
I was just looking at where it is on the map, and it's like the opposite way to my wife's best friend lives in Shasta Lake,
Yeah.
so it's like the opposite way that we go.
Yeah, it
J-
sucked.
Um,
Like you'd like it. So when I was younger, there was no bypass for the 101 going through Cloverdale. The 101 just ran straight down Cloverdale Boulevard. So like on a big weekend, the entire place would just lock up and you couldn't
mhm.
drive at all. And so the bar was originally right by the railroad tracks. So you could take off from our house, you could go across the street, head down Kelly Road, hit the river, hit the railroad tracks, and then ride a fucking dirt bike or a four-wheeler straight to the Dante. But as soon as they put in the highway overpass, you couldn't fucking do it anymore. But they still have I don't remember what they're called, but like those things you tie your horse up at? They still got those
Oh yeah,
motherfuckers out there because people ride horses there.
hitch post.
Hitch post. Yeah, they still have
Yeah.
those because people ride their horses there. It's fucking cool.
Before we get too far off the topic of meth,
Ooh.
which is the main event,
Yeah, yeah.
you know the song "Semi Charmed Life" by Third Eye Blind.
Yeah, dude, that's a dark song.
All right, so if you listen to the edited version and the unedited version, they say crystal meth throughout the song, no matter what.
Yeah.
But in the unedited version, there's a part where he talks about a girl that where like those little red panties they passed the test.
Yeah.
They edited out little red panties and let meth go through the entire fucking song because they
Oh,
didn't know
wow.
what meth was at the time.
Oh, wow. Yeah, dude, that's a dark fucking song. Like people thought
Yeah,
that was just it was like a happy-go-lucky tune. So everybody was just
yeah.
kind of into it. I remember when that song came out, like it was a very popular song. My
Oh,
my
wha-
mom's over here fucking around. She liked that song for sure. Like everybody liked that song. It was fun.
so I learned recently, you know the song Copacabana.
No.
Her name was Lola.
Oh
She
yeah.
was a show. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So that song is about a girl that murders somebody. It's like super dark
Yeah.
too. And this bartender was drunk telling me about it. And I got to look at it again, but it's like a super dark song. I really like super dark songs that just sound good. Like
Yeah. I'll
uh
send I'll send go ahead, sorry.
that song all the little kids with the pumped up kicks is about school shootings.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that
Yeah.
one.
You better run, outrun my bullet.
Oh yeah. Oh, I like that song. That's a
Yeah,
good song. I
yeah,
didn't
it's a
know that. I'm
Columbine
gonna have to
song,
listen to that
yeah.
again. So you need to listen to like I'm a big Warren Zevon guy. Like I'm always trying to get people to listen to Warren Zevon because I think he's fucking awesome. His first song on his first album is called Excitable Boy. The album's called Excitable Boy, and it's about a kid that's like fucked in the head. And he like goes to prison for murdering somebody, and then when he gets out, he digs up her grave and makes a cage with her bones. And it's like this happy-go-lucky fun song, and it's just
Yeah.
like the darkest fucking shit that you could imagine. Like, holy crap! You listen to the words, you're like, holy shit! Like this fucking is gnarly.
Dude, I'm trying to think about how we got here, and
Baseball,
it started with my Golden
mushrooms.
Knights finals, and we were talking about how military propaganda still gets us.
Yeah, yeah,
And
dude.
what I was gonna say
That's
is,
real quick. I have written down on my notes propaganda because I wanted to circle back to the propaganda because I still had more to say about it. So this is
to tie
perfect.
it.
Continue,
All
please.
right, so I'm gonna say this, and then I want to talk about Iraq.
Mhm.
All fun topics tonight, boys.
Yes.
So like when the Jets flew over, bro, I was just like, America, fuck yeah. And then thinking about so this last weekend when they were justifying bombing Iran, it sounded like the Iraq playbook. It's exactly the same. They're days away.
You're either with us or you're with the terrorists.
Yeah, and just like they chant death to America. And I remember when I remember the day specifically. So I was like
Dude,
living just outside of Detroit, managing a car lot. I was fucking 19 years old, managing 20 people, which I had no business doing. A long day, get out of work at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. I got there at like 6 in the morning. And the news or TV or whatever is just showing the tanks rolling in to Baghdad. And I fucking muted the TV and I turned Bombs Over Baghdad by Outkast, put it on repeat. And I'm
God.
just like, fuck yeah, Bombs Over Baghdad. Man, I got sold so hard on that. And y- th- like it wasn't until I don't know, I've till I didn't pay attention to politics at all until COVID, and
Yeah.
then I got a very firm stance on being anti-war. Like I don't care. There's enough resources in the world for the current consumption of energy that there's absolutely no reason to have a war.
No.
There's no justifiable reason. There are enough resources, period. And but man, when I saw those fucking B2s fly over Miami Beach on their way back, I'm like, fuck yeah,
Yeah, dude. I was
it's
all into
crazy how they can get you.
I was super into fighter jets as a kid. Like I wasn't into politics at all when I was a kid. I
Yeah.
was 15 when 9/11 happened. So like I was into dirt bikes and sports. Like
Yeah.
I didn't pay attention to politics at all. I never got into any of the 9/11 truth stuff. It just wasn't my thing. I wasn't into computers. I was never on the internet. So like I never had access to any of that shit. None of my friends gave a fuck either. Like we just partied and had fun and like we didn't care about any of that shit. And like I think that first off, like American college age liberals chant death to America all the time. Like we're
Yeah.
not bombing Harvard. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
No,
it's fucking crazy.
we just released a non-citizen who's chanting for death of America because
Yeah.
some judge said that. Like
Yeah.
this is not something that's unique. And oh, actually, let's talk about this. How do you feel about burning the American flag?
I don't mind.
Yeah, I'm free speed
I
absolutist.
I don't care. It doesn't do anything
Yeah,
for it doesn't do
speech,
anything to
not
me.
speed.
Like
Yeah,
I remember like in school, I always thought the Pledge of Allegiance was stupid. Like,
yeah.
why am I
That
going
was
to pledge
conformity.
allegiance to a country that fucking hates me? You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah,
was always in this camp where there's like, I've probably told you this before, but at one point I asked my grandfather, like, why are we Republicans? I remember asking. I was probably like 12 or something like that. I didn't know, like, I don't know what
it's like because you ain't a queer boy.
exactly. And that was kind of the answer. But he gave a great answer for me to understand anyways. He was like, the Democrats want to take away your dirt bikes. That's why you have to have a spark arrestor and a red sticker on your bike. Like that has nothing to do with the environment. It's just Democrats not wanting you to ride a dirt bike. They're doing the same thing in Yellowstone. Like you used to be able to ride a snowmobile through Yellowstone. Then Bill Clinton got in and he shut that down. And they don't want you to have your guns. They don't want you to go hunting. He kind of gave me the regular things. But
Mhm.
As I got older, I realized like, and this was, 2018 when I got into politics, he didn't explain why we were Republicans. He explained why we weren't Democrats. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like, he was all in on the war. I think that people deserve a pass for buying the propaganda for Iraq. Like, it was
Yeah,
a
the internet
crazy
was
thing.
barely a thing. It
Y-
was barely a thing.
Yeah, like it was so crazy. Like, people had just this gnarly reaction to 9/11, which they should have. Like, it was a terrible fucking thing. But
Yeah.
if you don't dig into it, like, you just buy the propaganda line that it was, you're with us, we're with the terror. I remember calling some lady a terrorist at the fucking Dante one night. Like, she was talking about how stupid it was to go over there and fight this war. And I'm like, you're a fucking terrorist. Like, get out of
Yeah.
here. You know what I mean? And like,
So
it's
so you never did
embarrassing to me
you
that I
never
bought that
really
shit.
got oh, sorry.
Yeah, like, it's embarrassing that I bought that shit, but I didn't know any better, you know? Like, I was a kid, and even you, like, you deserve a pass on it. It's crazy the amount of propaganda that we were hit with, and, like, there was so few people who were actually speaking up against it that, like, from a right-wing perspective, like, Pat Buchanan was against it, but, like, Pat Buchanan wasn't on Fox News every night. He didn't have a big Ron Paul was against it, but like, if you didn't search out Ron Paul, you never got to hear it. It wasn't like it was being broadcast to you on Fox News every night, where you've got these fucking ridiculous war hawks telling you that we have to have war because these people hate America because of our freedom.
And if you did search out Ron Paul, the first thing you would find is that his campaigns were funded by the KKK.
Yeah, he's a Nazi.
No, 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 like,
Yeah, they were. I
like,
know.
yeah.
But
No, he's not.
no, he's not.
He
But like,
yeah.
he got funding from people like that because he was America first. Like,
I'm not even entirely sure that he got funding from people like that. I think that
okay, I
was
don't know.
counter. I looked into it a little bit, but I think that was like just like you're a racist, you're a Nazi, you're KKK,
Yeah.
just like and I think that was projection just to silence him.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure. He might have been. I don't know. But so you never
And
well
also, that could have been an op.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Like, the
Yeah,
KKK is funded by some fucking FBI or CIA front group. They're getting USAID style money. And here, give it to the guy who's our biggest fucking threat so we can use that as propaganda to silence
yeah.
him. Like, that
Yep.
makes sense to me.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about it. So I was 23 at 9/11. And so I had from like I'm very happy with my life now. I'm like love everything about it. But the times from like 1995 to 9/11, like the US was so wonderful to live in.
Yeah.
We had just got cell phones. Starbucks was a new thing. Like if you could go get a Starbucks, it was fucking magical. Well, in Detroit at least.
NASCAR was
Um,
fucking huge.
oh yeah, Dale died and I was able to sell the Oreo cars on fucking eBay for 10 times what I paid for them.
Yeah.
And there's just like this like up
America.
until then.
Fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
just like this feeling of opportunity. There was no overarching doom and gloom, which I know that when I was born, there was like oil shortages and people had to wait in line for cars, and like I was a baby for that. So like I didn't like one of my first memories is the Detroit Tigers winning the World Series. My dad being like, "We got to go for a ride." So we're driving down Woodward Boulevard, and like the city is out celebrating, and I look at this fucking billboard, and this guy climbed up on a billboard. And he just pulled his pants down and showed his ass to the world. He's like, "This is how I celebrate
Yeah.
Detroit winning,"
Yeah.
because Detroit doesn't win that much
Yeah.
in anything. But like it was just and like that was just and I had of by all measures a terrible childhood, but the world was really good.
Yeah. Dude, even like
And
dirt bike racing at that time, Jeremy McGrath and Travis Pastrana were going on Jay Leno. Like, it was big back then. Like, I was so into dirt bikes as a kid. And like, it was this big fucking thing. And No Fear. I don't know if you remember No Fear.
oh
Like,
yeah,
I
no
had a No
fear.
Fear shirt that said F star CK terrorism on it. And I got kicked out of school. I got suspended from school for wearing that. And like, dude, I was so primed to become a libertarian in my early life because like that happened to me and it was like,
Yeah.
why? Like, we just had this massive terror attack, and I wore it on 9/11 on like 2002 or 2003. And like
Yeah.
I get sent to the principal's office and sent home for the day because of it. It's like, why would you do that? Like that's fucking ridiculous and stupid. And I didn't understand it at the time,
Yeah.
this whole liberal bullshit type of thing. And then like, dude, I was under attack from the state since the time I was 15. Like they
Yeah.
came at me hard. My dad almost got arrested when we were building a dirt bike track on our own property. Like we were creating dust with the tractor and it was one day of dust. Like we had a watering system set up and like we're building this track and my neighbors are outside watching me ride it on lawn chairs drinking beers, on the other side of the street. And my other neighbor was my uncle. Our other neighbor was my fucking grandfather who was helping build the track. This cop who hated me shows up and is like, you guys can't do this, environmental this, fucking noise that. And my dad basically told him to fuck off. And then he ended up in handcuffs in the back of a fucking cop car. The same cop, like, tried to throw me in jail for having a party at my house a couple years
Yeah.
later. And then that same cop tried to destroy me and my friends' lives for dazed and confused style hazing. He hit us with he hit us with so many felonies. It was crazy. We got 1 count of assault with a deadly weapon, 10 counts. Oh, excuse me. 1 count of possession of a deadly weapon, 10 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, 7 counts of criminal conspiracy for dazed and confused style hazing. Everybody knew that this was happening. One out of town cop who wanted to be, the head honcho, the sheriff, whatever he wanted. He wanted to be the lieutenant. I don't know. And he took it upon himself to go at war with a bunch of fucking kids and hit him with, I don't even remember how many felonies. It's like 18 felonies, 20 felonies, something like that. It was insane. So like that same cop, one day he pulled me over. I was probably like 20 at the time. I was a salesman. And he was always trying to bust me for anything. He fucking hated me and I hated him. I gave him so much shit whenever I possibly could. So he pulls me over in my pickup and I had a couple oxys in my pocket. So I popped and it was like 480s or something like that, like gnarly. And he pulls me out of the truck, cleans out my entire truck looking for everything, puts me through field sobriety tests, which I passed, which you never pass field sobriety tests. Like that's crazy that he
Yeah.
let me go. Like it's a subjective test. Like there's no real pass or fail on it. It's basically like if the cop can lie and say that he saw something, you're fucked essentially. And at the time I didn't know that you didn't have to take him. He would have arrested me if I didn't take him and I would have gotten drug tested and I would have got thrown in fucking jail. But I got away with it somehow. I woke up like 3 days later in my buddy's driveway in my pickup. I have no idea what happened in between those times at all. But like, so I think I'm a Republican. Me and my buddy Nolan, when we moved down to that apartment, we stole this big like 8 by 10 foot Bush Cheney sign and hung it up in our apartment just to fuck with people. And like, as I'm getting older, it's like, dude, the liberals hate me because I ride dirt bikes and I love guns. And the Republicans hate me because I smoke weed. Like, I am completely politically homo. Like, none of these people represent me. I hate both sides at this point. And like, what do I do? And then enter Dave Smith and my life completely changed, which is a great thing. Because if I would have gotten into like Charlie Kirk or Ben Shapiro or Dave Rubin or any of those things during 2018, my life could have been completely different. I don't think I would have fallen for that propaganda because I just
Well, you
didn't
could have
believe
got
it.
into Sam Harris.
Yeah. Dude, that Tim Dillon video was so funny when he was like, he's a meditation guru by night and a war hawk bombing children by day.
This dude that I knew got married, and a lot of my very good friends are friends with him, and like it was just like a friend group, so we all went to his wedding, and it's like me, my wife, my very good friend who I talk to like almost every day. He's who I spent the pandemic with, and his girl.
Mhm.
We're sitting in this row at the wedding, and the dude. This is before Sam Harris went full retard, and the dude was like, "All right, so now we're gonna meditate." And this motherfucker
Gross.
goes up and nose breathes into the microphone for like 4 minutes.
Oh, Jesus. That's horrible.
And all of the friends of the friend group were like, "Dan, I'm surprised you didn't say anything," because I'm that guy.
Yeah.
But in my group chat with my good friend, my wife, and his lady, The title of the group chat on WhatsApp is meditation to this day. But like this guy went full Sam Harris,
Dude,
and
when I got sober,
he's probably on the same side as Sam Harris now.
probably. When I got sober, I moved to this sober living house in San Francisco with a bunch of people. And like one of the women that I moved there with, she was like into yoga. Oh, you should come to this AA yoga meeting with me. I'm like, oh, I don't want to fucking do that, you know?
AA yoga.
Yeah.
Get a
And
cigarette and a coffee.
yeah, it was fucking wild. And so like I finally
Here's
agreed
the
to it.
bottom out degenerate
I
pose.
I finally agree to go, and, like, I've never done yoga in my life, but I'm in great shape at this point. Like, I was fucked up while I was on drugs. I lost a
Yeah.
ton of weight. I was in, like, the 120s. I'm 6'3" or 6'4" even. I don't even know how tall I am at this point. I get every time I get measured, it's between 6'2" and 6'4". Like, it's just depending on what your fucking measurement system is at the
Yeah.
doctor's office. And, anyways, like, I'm in great shape. I've been going to the gym. I was probably 200 pounds, a lot of muscle, like in great shape. And I was a dirt bike racer for my, entire life essentially. And like I did stretch a lot for that. So she's like kind of giving me shit. Oh, so I know you're not going to be able to do it, but you just have to try and do your best. And like if it's too much for you, just take a knee or go into downward dog and just wait until you're capable of doing it again. And so we go and I'm like, whatever. And I like crushed this fucking yoga class. I fucking crushed it. Like the guy who's teaching it is like, there's no way this is your first time. Like you're the best at this in the class. Like, how is this your first time? And that woman was so fucking angry. She almost never talked to me again after that. Like,
You probably made her a relapse.
oh, dude, she was so mad and like so embarrassed. It was just hilarious. It was one of the greatest moments that I can
The
remember in
the
that
one
house. It
yoga
was
class I
awesome.
went to. So this is before I got married, obviously. I go to Burning Man. I bought a one-way ticket there, but I knew a bunch of friends that were from Vegas, so I had a way home. And I met this chick who was a former GQ cover.
Ooh,
And she's like, I have a house in this beach town in Southern California. It was the first house built in this town. You want to come hang out for a while? Like, sure. So, like, I leave Burning Man with her, drive her G Wagon back down there. And like 3 days in, it's whatever. And she's like, I there's this particular type of music that I like that's not very popular. She's
mhm.
like, "Oh, there's this yoga class. It's like for beginners, so you'll be fine." And they play this music that you really like. I'm like, "All right, cool. I'll try it." It was a 120-minute advanced yoga class, and the teacher played the music that I liked. And I'm just not a quitter. So he's like, "Oh, do a handstand or whatever." And I'd try to do one, and I'd fall, and I'd get up and try to do it again. And like he came over and helped me, and at the end, he's like, "Yeah, you've clearly never done yoga before. I don't know why this class was suggested to you, but like, you want to go have a drink?" And so, like, me, her, and him, so like, but me and him, just like instant best friends,
Yeah.
went and had a drink, had dinner, and I still talk to that dude to this day. Obviously, don't talk to her. She was fucking insane, but
Yeah, so
um,
that same woman that I was talking about, she was a hot Asian chick, big fake tits. And like,
oh, those exist.
yeah, she was
Hot
hot.
Asian or hot for an Asian or hot Asian?
No, hot Asian. She was hot. She had nice fake tits. They weren't like overly big, like they looked really fucking. She was hot. And like we met in this, it's called like a crisis residential center that I got into through like health insurance. And then like me, her, and this other guy that was there, we all decided to move to this sober living house in San Francisco. And like she was married and she was kind of like separated from her husband, but working it out. And like she had me over for dinner at their house one night. It was super weird. And like I've never really been great with women. And I was, like 28 or something at the time, but like I didn't, there was no women while I was on drugs. Like I had no sex drive. I just wasn't like,
Yeah, you're just
I was on
high.
drugs.
Yeah.
And so this woman wanted to fuck me. And I didn't realize it at the time. Like we went to the beach one day and she's like, oh, let's kind of go over here. And we're like kind of over this like hill on these dunes and shit. And like she's smoking hot and I didn't. Looking back on it now, I was like, God, why did I not notice that? Like, so fucking stupid.
I had a buddy who went into recovery.
I think
I
she
think he's
real
like,
quick, I think she stopped, like, being friends because she was pissed off that I didn't fuck her.
Actually, I think he's like 25, 30 years sober now.
Oh,
But like
wow.
when we were kids, I like just like talking to him. He's like, you know, the best thing about AA? I said no. He said women can't drink with a dick in their mouth, and they want to drink. so,
I actually
so
liked AA. I got a lot out of it. Like I enjoyed.
I I know a lot of people that when I was younger, somehow ended up in a friend group where most people were in recovery,
Yeah.
and like some of the longest friendships I've had, like and like some of the most successful people I know now, like stopped drinking when they were like 16, 17, and
Yeah.
they just crush. But
AA's
just like
great, man.
observing
It
it,
it like it helps you figure out your life. Like it gives you a playbook to be a good person. And it's on you to do it, but like it gives you an avenue to like, oh, I can change. All I have to do is follow this playbook. And like the people there are always great and like want to help you and I enjoyed it a lot. I don't go anymore. AA in Idaho's not great. Like I went to it a little bit with my ex-wife when we moved here, but it was just it's not the same as San Francisco. San Francisco, there's a ton of people in AA
yeah,
meetings. And like I went to one that was across the street from the sober living facility that I lived in that I really enjoyed. It was like all older people. It's where I met my ex-wife actually was at that meeting. And I enjoyed that one a lot. And then you would go to some that were kind of like more of the people are going to dress up and try and look hot and hook up type of meetings. I go to
yeah.
those every once in a while, but you don't really get a lot out of those. But like sometimes they have great speakers. Like Scott Weiland spoke one night, which was fucking awesome. Like I loved STP and Velvet Revolver, so it was super cool to like hear Scott
Yeah.
Weiland. My sponsor who lived in Marin, he went to a meeting with Robin Williams that was in it, and like I went a couple times trying to, he
I
said
heard
when
that dude
Robin
was
Williams
hung.
speaks, like it's fucking great because he's hilarious and he tells great stories and shit. But I never caught that one.
I heard Robin Williams was hung.
Oh, I bet he was. My mom
No,
babysit
he
for
hung
him.
himself, dude. That was the joke.
Oh shit. My mom
Uh,
babysit for him when she was younger. Like
oh shit.
she went over to babysit for him the first time, and like she said he was just coked out of his mind. He was bouncing around the house doing Mork and Mindy, like he was just doing Mork all the time. And my mom asked his wife, she was like, "Is he always like that?" And she goes, "Yes, and that's why we're getting divorced."
Makes sense. And on that note, that's about an hour.
Yeah, it is. That was a quick hour, man. I like it when we
Well, and I think the title for this one is everything that you need to know about Iran, Israel, and World War III.
I also wrote down penis envy mushrooms and meth stories.
Yeah, I'd love for that to not be the title.
Okay, we cannot do that. That's right. We're being a little more responsible and less wild today.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can dig
but
that.
I think that'd be a really well, it depends on how fast this goes out, but that'd be
I'll get it out
every
tomorrow.
everything you need to know about Iran, Iraq, or Iran, Israel, United States, and World War III, or something like that.
Yeah, we
And
can
then
do
it's
that.
just nothing about that.
Nothing
I think
about
that'd be
that.
funny
Meth
as fuck.
stories and fucking mushrooms and all kinds of fun shit. All
Because I
right,
mean, that's all
man.
that matters is living in the fucking moment. Like, there's nothing we can do to change what's going on.
Nope.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Like I
Yeah.
don't let it
So,
affect my life, you know?
yeah.
Like it's one of those things where you kind of know that you're right and you kind of can't take your eye off of Twitter because you want to see what happens
Yeah.
and you're like waiting for the next thing to happen even though you don't want it to happen. There's just this weird
Yeah.
thing where you're kind of like balancing this line where I know it's going to happen, I don't want it to happen, but I want to see when it does, and it kind of makes you feel dirty a little, at least me.
Yeah.
It makes me
Yeah.
feel a little bit
Just
dirty.
give me my little
Yeah,
need my little
exactly,
tweet.
exactly.
The,
So,
the the one thing that was like really surprising was waking up to a video of Trump saying that neither side knew what the fuck they were doing.
that was great. I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting that at all.
And it's just like I had an opinion on what happened, and I was clearly wrong.
Yeah, me too,
And
I think. I
and
kinda thought that he's in the Epstein files and
yeah,
he
no,
has to do
I
something,
my
right? And like he
my
did
buddy is like
when you
hardcore
listen to
dumb.
him when he was talking about like actually doing it, I'm not going to tell you when. He kind of seems like he was reluctant to do it and he didn't really want to do it. And I don't think they destroyed those facilities. Like, I think
No.
you had to have a tactical nuke to destroy those things. So I think it's a lot of show. So I wouldn't be surprised if he had like a lot of inside pressure to do something. Just do
Yeah.
something. And he calls them and says, hey, we're going to bomb these facilities, clear out all your people. I don't want to kill anybody. Because it really does seem like he doesn't want to kill people.
And so through all of this, my opinion on Gabbard got really bad.
Yeah.
But now, like, so she towed the line and then this happened. I don't think that's so bad. Like, she's like, okay, so like probably the conversation was we're gonna drop these bombs at the entrances. Nobody's gonna get hurt, but this is like the show that we need to do for the world.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay.
I
And then
think she's
nobody
out
got
of the
hurt.
loop.
Huh?
I think she's out of the loop.
No. She got put in the loop, and that's when she changed her tone.
Yeah.
To like, yeah, like they're definitely
No,
like
I-
from that March hearing and to they're definitely enriching uranium. Like that's a big swing, but then that big swing got people behind dropping the bombs that did nothing and nobody got hurt. And like I could see how she can sleep at night. At first I was like, I don't know how that bitch can sleep at night.
Yeah. And by out of the loop, I mean that, like, hey, you're going to go do this thing. Like, this is what you're going to say. You're going to fucking do it. But also, we're not going to tell you what you're going to do. You're not going to be part of the planning process. You're not going to know ahead of time.
I
of what we're
disagree. I
doing.
think she
Okay.
like I think the only way that she would take that deal, because she said that she like days before the bombing happened, she said she would resign if we bombed them.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
And then she changed her tune and then nobody got hurt and a ceasefire was signed. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you have to run the propaganda because you're a government. And it ended up pretty all right.
Her last tweet, well, it's not, yeah, it is her last tweet, is Trump's message: congratulations to everyone. The 12-day war has ended, blah, blah, blah. Only President Trump could have achieved this historical ceasefire agreement, which was broken immediately, that brings us closer to peace. It was a Herculean effort that deserves the thanks of all the people of Israel, Iran, Middle East, America, and the entire world. Congratulations and thank you.
Yeah. And so she was, I'm going to resign if we drop bombs. Oh, no, they're making nukes. Bombs drop. Nobody gets hurt. Ceasefire happens. Only Donald Trump could do that. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on
And that's
that-
everything that you need to know about the conflict in the Middle East.
Absolutely. All right, man. Get out of here. It's a good one. Those
That is a
hours
good
go
one.
fast when we're not planning shit.
It'll probably be a month again. I'm fucking swamped, but